In the nascent epoch, Earth was a realm of enigmatic transformations, whose true magnitude eluded human comprehension. Ancient texts, such as those enshrined within the Bible, recount occurrences that transcend the material realm, narrating encounters between the physical and the supernatural, between humankind and entities beyond our grasp. These encounters, poorly understood and rarely elucidated in detail, compel us to ponder the mysteries that lie beyond the confines of language and immediate meaning. Yet, upon opening the pages of sacred texts, we encounter the mention of a people called sons of God, who inexplicably interacted with daughters of men. What may initially appear as mere poetic or metaphorical language could in fact be the prelude to a far more intricate revelation. What precisely were these ancient narratives attempting to convey to us? What does this union between divine and human beings truly represent? What are the Nephilim, referred to as the offspring of this encounter, and what mysteries shroud them? According to biblical texts, this phenomenon occurred in a remote era when humanity was still in its infancy, yet its impact was so profound that it reverberated throughout the entirety of human history. This was not merely a tale of union between celestial beings and mortals. It was a narrative that fundamentally altered the very nature of humankind. The Nephilim, those giants born from the union of the sons of God with the daughters of men, were depicted as beings possessing exceptional strength and power. Their presence in the biblical scriptures raises numerous questions that, to this day, evoke more enigma than elucidation. What then did the presence of these giants on earth signify? What was their purpose? And how did their actions shape the world around them? The first clue we have about the Nephilim takes us straight to Genesis 6:1-4, where we encounter this unsettling passage that speaks of the sons of God uniting with the daughters of men and birthing the Nephilim. These beings in turn are described as the heroes of old, giants endowed with supernatural abilities and strength. But what was the true nature of this power? The accounts don't tell us directly, but they suggest that the Nephilim, by their very origin and essence, was something beyond the comprehension of ordinary humanity. The Nephilim were not merely physical beings. The Bible, particularly in texts like the Book of Enoch, delves deeper to suggest they were hybrid creatures, not just human, but with a direct connection to the divine. Though not part of the official canon in most Christian traditions, the Book of Enoch offers a captivating glimpse into the fallen angels known as the Watchers. These Watchers, in defiance of God, descended to earth, assumed human forms, and interbred with women. The offspring of this union were the Nephilim, a generation of giants possessing extraordinary abilities who came to be recognized as a superior race. Although the Nephilim were undoubtedly formidable, their presence on Earth did not go unnoticed, nor was it a benign influence on humanity. The corruption that followed their arrival was so pervasive that, according to the Bible, God resolved to cleanse the world through a cataclysmic flood which swept across the earth, eradicating the corrupted beings and the Nephilim who inhabited it. Yet, as hinted at in subsequent passages, the question lingers: did the Nephilim truly vanish with the deluge? Or did their lineage and influence persist in some manner? While the biblical account of Noah's flood is a narrative of judgment and purification, it also poses a crucial question. Could the Nephilim have been such a formidable force that they could have altered the very course of human history, influencing the development of future civilizations? Or perhaps, as some believe, their presence on Earth was merely a reflection of something far more profound and deeply embedded in the very fabric of creation. Furthermore, it's captivating to observe how ancient cultures from diverse corners of the globe also possess their own iterations of narratives featuring giants and supernatural beings. For instance, Greek mythology speaks of the Titans, who, much like the Nephilim, were formidable giants who dared to challenge the gods. In Norse mythology, Ice giants assume analogous roles, wielding formidable abilities and supernatural capabilities. This prompts a fascinating inquiry. Could it be that these myths from disparate cultures are all referring to the same type of being, a singular class of giants, yet cloaked in varying names and manifestations? The Nephilim, therefore, are far more than merely an isolated religious concept. They embody an archetype that transcends cultural and geographical boundaries, and whose influences can be seen in a wide array of ancient myths and traditions. But what is the true significance behind these figures? Were they indeed a threat to humanity, or were they merely a reflection of the power and transgression of beings who sought to surpass the natural limits of creation? As we delve deeper into this enigma, we begin to realize that the Nephilim are not merely legendary figures, but rather a part of a far grander and more intricate narrative. Examining ancient scriptures, we discern that their genesis was not merely a divine happenstance, but a deliberate choice, a challenge to the boundaries set by God. The union of the sons of God with the daughters of men was undoubtedly an event that irrevocably altered the course of human history. The mystery then intensifies. How can we comprehend the true nature of these beings? And how might the Nephilim have influenced the civilizations that emerged in the wake of the deluge? The Book of Enoch, one of the oldest texts concerning the Nephilim, recounts how the fallen angels, known as the Watchers, descended upon earth and imparted forbidden knowledge to humankind. This included expertise in magic, incantations, astrology, and, significantly, warfare. It is noteworthy that these technological advancements did not arise organically, but were bestowed directly upon humans, an act which, according to the Book of Enoch, ushered in a revolution across all facets of human existence. But what was the true purpose behind these donations? Were the Watchers, upon descending to Earth, striving to elevate humanity, or were they seeking a means to control and subjugate it? Many believe their intention was to create a new breed of hybrid beings who, with the divine power of angels and human intellect, would rule the world. When contemplating ancient civilizations, it is difficult not to discern how the Nephilim and their progeny may have influenced humanity's grand constructions and advancements, from the pyramids of Egypt to the ancient Sumerian cities. The concept of a highly advanced ancient civilization possessing knowledge far surpassing that of ordinary humans is a captivating theory. Indeed, many of humanity's greatest achievements can be viewed as legacies inherited from these prodigious progenitors. After all, how could ancient Egyptians, Babylonians, and Sumerians have attained such sophistication in such a short span of time? Could the Nephilim have been the architects of this grandeur? Did they impart their ideas and technologies to humankind, who subsequently adapted and utilized them to construct the marvels of antiquity? The connection between the Nephilim and the emergence of advanced technologies is a theory gaining traction among some scholars and proponents of alternative theories. History is replete with tales of beings arriving on Earth possessing advanced knowledge. The Egyptian gods, the Norse gods, the Mesopotamian deities all seem to share a common set of attributes: strength, knowledge, and a direct connection to celestial realms. These entities are depicted as descending from the heavens or another world, carrying with them the keys to power. And when we juxtapose these narratives with biblical accounts and our understanding of the Nephilim, a compelling picture begins to emerge. However, we cannot disregard the shadow of the deluge that looms over these narratives. According to scriptures, the deluge was a cataclysmic event sent by God to cleanse the earth and eradicate the corruption of the Nephilim and their progeny. The Bible speaks of the annihilation of all living creatures save Noah and his family, who were chosen to preserve human purity and the creation of God. But did the Nephilim truly meet their end? Or could it be that some survived, leaving behind a clandestine legacy? The persistence of references to giants on earth after the deluge, such as the story of Goliath vanquished by David, suggests that the Nephilim's impact may have been more profound and enduring than we fathom. But, like any ancient enigma, the answers are never straightforward. The Bible, the Book of Enoch, and other traditions speak of events that transcend human logic and comprehension. If the Nephilim truly existed, what was their purpose? Were they, in fact, attempting to subjugate Earth, or were they merely trying to grasp a grander scheme, something even the angels themselves could not comprehend? These hybrid beings, imbued with celestial and human blood, possessed knowledge that in the wrong hands could have brought about the world's destruction. Perhaps, in their endeavor to impart this knowledge to humanity, they did not intend to cause harm, but rather to share a power that, ultimately, was not meant to be shared. As time marches on and more archaeological discoveries are unearthed, the enigma of the Nephilim deepens. Accounts of colossal skeletal remains found in disparate corners of the globe hint at an extraordinary event that transpired in antiquity. Archaeologists uncover mass graves teeming with gigantic bones and the remnants of humanoids of colossal stature. Yet the details surrounding these findings are frequently shrouded in secrecy or dismissed by mainstream science. What might these discoveries portend, and why are they so often relegated to the shadows or minimized by scientific authorities? Perhaps the answer lies in the fear that the truth about the Nephilim might be revealed, a truth that could shake our understanding of history and our place in the universe. Perhaps the Nephilim, those giants of antiquity, are more than just mythological figures. Perhaps they are the keys to a deeper understanding of our past and our future. And as the mystery persists, the question remains: who were the Nephilim truly, and what legacy did they leave behind? Now that we're beginning to unravel the threads of this narrative, I pose a question that transcends our previous explorations. Envision yourself journeying back in time to encounter the Nephilim firsthand. What would you inquire of them? What secrets do you believe they would be willing to divulge to the world? Share your thoughts in the comments, for I assure you, your contemplations may illuminate aspects of this story beyond our current understanding. And remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the subsequent episodes, where we'll delve further into the enigmas of the Nephilim and ancient civilizations. Let us proceed. As our exploration into the Nephilim deepens and the potential legacy they left behind comes into focus, a compelling pattern emerges. Cultures across the globe, with their diverse mythologies and beliefs, feature references to giants and supernatural beings, and many of these figures exhibit common traits with the Nephilim. Are these narratives merely myths and legends passed down through generations? Or does a deeper truth bind these ancient civilizations to a formidable race of beings who once walked the earth millennia ago? The Titans of Greek mythology, for instance, were beings of immense strength and nearly superhuman abilities, much like the Nephilim described in Scripture. Similarly, the frost giants in Norse mythology, renowned for their colossal strength, also bear resemblance to the Nephilim. If these cultures had no contact with one another, what accounts for this confluence of ideas and descriptions? A plausible explanation for this phenomenon is that the narratives concerning the Nephilim are not unique to the Bible, but rather a shared memory of an ancient era when giants truly walked the earth. Yet, upon contemplating these mythological figures, we observe that they were often depicted as powerful yet perilous beings. The giants' relationship with humans was not invariably amicable. In the preponderance of narratives, giants were challenged, vanquished, or, in the case of the Nephilim, met with cataclysmic retribution in the form of the deluge. This recurring motif of absolute dominion, culminating in a precipitous and catastrophic downfall, is a hallmark of legends concerning giants. Returning to the Bible, we find an interesting reference to a giant who survived the flood, Goliath. the Philistine warrior who was defeated by David. If the Nephilim truly existed and were wiped out by the flood, how can we explain the presence of Goliath and other giants on earth after the event? A possible theory is that despite the flood, some descendants of the Nephilim may have survived, either through secret lineages or even by means unknown to us. This would explain the continued presence of giants in the history of Israel and the legends that have emerged throughout the centuries. Some scholars believe that the giant race Goliath represented was not as powerful as the original Nephilim, but still possessed supernatural strength. The Bible describes Goliath as a man of immense stature. He was described as being approximately 9 feet tall, which by the standards of the time made him an imposing and intimidating figure. This raises an important question. Could giants, even after the flood, have continued to appear in different cultures and eras, perhaps on a smaller scale, but still with a direct link to the Nephilim? In the tale of Goliath, we observe that despite his towering stature and immense strength, he was vanquished by a youthful shepherd named David. Armed only with a sling and a stone, David managed to fell the giant. This is significant not only for David's heroic feat, but also for the symbolism embedded within the story. The small, seemingly insignificant, triumphing over the large and mighty. The narrative of David and Goliath transcends the realm of a mere physical victory. It speaks to the enduring themes of courage, faith, and the belief that even the most formidable challenges can be surmounted through unwavering determination and astute intellect. This tale of triumph, where the giant is vanquished by the diminutive David, resonates deeply within the human psyche. It imparts the profound lesson that, even in the face of the most formidable cosmic forces, there exists an inherent possibility for those who possess courage and self-belief. And thus, while the Nephilims embody a threat of immense power, the narrative of David serves as a reminder that even the most colossal giants, whether spiritual or physical in nature, can be overcome. In numerous ancient cultures, the concept of a giant is also intertwined with the notion of an absolute power that must be challenged or surpassed. If the Nephilim truly existed, perhaps their initial purpose was not to be destructive, but to bring the might of God to earth in a manner that humans could neither comprehend nor control. However, by intermingling with humanity and disseminating forbidden teachings and knowledge, such as the arts of war and magic, they ultimately disrupted the natural order of the world. The fact that many of these giants seem to have vanished with the flood, yet left behind a legacy of fear and awe, suggests that the presence of the Nephilim was more than just a temporary anomaly. Perhaps they were part of a larger cycle in the history of humanity, a history we have yet to fully grasp. Perhaps, as other ancient cultures suggest, the Nephilim were, in fact, the deities of many ancient religions, powerful yet distant beings who taught humanity, but also left a trail of destruction and decadence in their wake. This prompts a deeper contemplation. Were the Nephilim a human endeavor to attain divinity or a genuine threat to God's design for the world? If their presence on earth signified a disruption of the natural equilibrium between heaven and earth, then the narrative of the Nephilim might serve as a cautionary tale for posterity, a lesson on the perils of pursuing ultimate power and attempting to control forces beyond human comprehension. As the narrative of the Nephilim unfolds, we encounter a series of enigmas that challenge conventional understandings of humanity's past. The mystery surrounding their fate and the pervasive influence they seemingly exerted on ancient civilizations remains tantalizingly unresolved. The deluge, perceived as a world-cleansing event, purportedly eradicated the giants. Yet did it truly obliterate all vestiges of their impact? Or have the Nephilim, in their colossal stature and formidable power, bequeathed a lasting legacy to the civilizations that arose in the wake of the flood? One of the central questions that arises is the idea that perhaps humanity inherited not only the knowledge of the Nephilim, but also their practices and skills. Ancient civilizations, such as the Egyptians, Sumerians, and Babylonians, possessed advanced knowledge in fields like astronomy, mathematics, engineering, and medicine, which appeared to emerge abruptly and mysteriously, lacking a clear explanation for how these civilizations acquired such capabilities. The origin of this knowledge remains a subject of inquiry. The theory that it may have been transmitted by the Nephilim is a compelling possibility. Furthermore, many of these ancient civilizations, such as the Egyptians, worshipped gods and figures who were often depicted as beings with supernatural powers and an imposing presence. Could these deities have been the Nephilim themselves, or their descendants? When examining Egyptian art and other representations of divine figures, we frequently encounter giants, beings of human proportions, but possessing characteristics that set them apart from mortals. For instance, the god Osiris is often portrayed as a divine figure with immense strength and dominion over life and death. Similarly, the Anunnaki, central figures in Sumerian mythology, were described as celestial beings who bestowed profound knowledge upon humanity. What is intriguing is that these divine figures from diverse cultures share a common trait. They all appear to be connected to beings of a higher order, possessing abilities beyond human comprehension, and who, in some way, influence the development of human civilizations. Given the presence of the Nephilim in these cultures, it would be unsurprising if their teachings and knowledge were preserved and passed down through generations, whether through oral traditions or mythological representations. After all, ancient civilizations were keenly aware that they were in contact with something far grander than mere humanity. The influence of these formidable beings, such as the Nephilim, indelibly imprinted itself upon the cultures that revered them, be it as deities or mythical heroes. Beyond the direct impact of ancient cultures lies the intriguing question of the advanced technologies they developed. The Egyptian pyramids, for instance, stand as a testament to the ingenuity of ancient engineering, and many continue to marvel at how these colossal structures were erected with such remarkable precision. The theory that knowledge for their construction was imparted by the Nephilim, or beings of similar origin, has gained traction over the years. The pyramids, with their impeccably aligned lines and precise dimensions, transcend what one might anticipate from a primitive civilization, suggesting the involvement of an element beyond our current comprehension, a factor that eludes complete explanation through the lens of historical knowledge. Furthermore, the profound understanding of celestial bodies and advanced mathematical calculation exhibited by ancient cultures can also be attributed to this potential Nephilim legacy. How were these civilizations, without modern technology, able to map the heavens with such precision? The constellations, astronomical calendars, and even construction systems aligned with specific stars reveal a level of knowledge seemingly derived from an unknown source. The impact of these teachings transcended the ancient world. Throughout history, we have witnessed how this ancient knowledge has been passed down through the ages, albeit in a disguised or fragmented manner. Secret orders, such as the Masons and other esoteric societies, for instance, have preserved and transmitted these teachings over time. Many of these orders, which emerged during the Middle Ages and beyond, are deeply intertwined with traditions and symbols that hark back to ancient civilizations and their clandestine teachings. These esoteric teachings, passed down through generations of sages and occultists, have long been shrouded in secrecy. However, over time, they have begun to surface, frequently manifesting as enigmatic texts of philosophical and esoteric nature. The quest for hidden knowledge, for the true nature of the universe and its creation, is a recurring motif within these traditions. This compels us to ponder a more profound question. Are we merely at the cusp of comprehending the true extent of the influence wielded by the Nephilim and the legacy they have bequeathed? What further revelations await us concerning these ancient civilizations and the beings who shaped them? The notion of a hidden knowledge transmitted discreetly from one generation to the next is a theory that resonates with numerous spiritual and esoteric traditions. It is conceivable that beneath the conventional historical narrative, a far more intricate and profound account lies hidden, revealing forgotten truths about the Nephilim and their impact on humanity. Should the Nephilim have indeed existed, and if their influences are as profound as the evidence suggests, then the legacy they have bequeathed to us is something that may hold greater relevance to our lives than we presently envision. What started as a remote tale involving giants and supernatural beings is now beginning to take on a more complex and intricate form, especially when we consider the return of the Nephilim and the impact they could have on our present reality. While the deluge has been described as the world's purification, having eliminated the Nephilim threat, has this threat truly vanished? Or could the influence of these beings, with their mystical power and wisdom, continue to exist in a veiled manner, subtly influencing modern society? Some theorists posit that the lineage of the Nephilim was not entirely eradicated by the flood. Instead, their descendants may have integrated with other cultures and continue to exert their influence on the world in more subtle ways. This concept is explored in various alternative theories, which propose that certain families and groups throughout history are, in fact, direct descendants of the Nephilim. These groups may have preserved ancient knowledge and, over time, amassed considerable political and financial power. This compels us to question the completeness of the history we know, or whether there are hidden elements that have been deliberately concealed from us. Furthermore, the notion that the Nephilim could have left behind a veiled legacy finds resonance in the clandestine societies that have exerted influence over politics and commerce for centuries. Freemasons, Illuminati, Templars, and other secret orders share symbols and traditions that in many instances directly allude to the ancient wisdom purportedly conveyed by the Nephilim. These societies boast a rich history of engaging with symbols intrinsically linked to knowledge that may have been imparted by these gigantic beings. One wonders if contemporary secret orders harbor any connection to the Nephilim or their descendants, who are said to continue operating in the shadows. The pursuit of this lost knowledge, which could bestow absolute power upon its possessors, has been a recurring theme throughout human history. For many, the powerful institutions and figures that have emerged over time are merely reflections of a more ancient system, one established by the Nephilim, and which in some way continues to dictate the course of events in the modern world. The concentration of power in the hands of a select few families and global elites can be seen as a continuation of a lineage that since antiquity has sought to maintain control over knowledge and power. However, beyond these conspiratorial and mystical theories, there exists a fascinating connection with modern science. Across the globe, archaeologists and scientists have unearthed astonishing discoveries that may point to a presence or influence of giants in human history. Common graves, remarkably large human skeletons, and structures seemingly designed for beings of otherworldly proportions raise questions that challenge our current scientific understanding. As our journey draws to a close, the questions that arose during this exploration of the Nephilim persist. After all, what do we truly know about these giants and their profound influence on our world? What can we glean from the tantalizing clues scattered throughout history? The truth is that to this day, many of the mysteries surrounding the Nephilim remain unsolved. Despite traversing a path strewn with discoveries and illuminating theories, the narrative of their existence is far from fully unveiled. However, one thing is certain: the Nephilim represent something far greater than just a tale of ancient giants. They are a symbol of humanity's insatiable thirst for power, knowledge, and a deeper understanding of the universe and ourselves. Their story, though shrouded in myth and legend, holds the key to many fundamental questions about the nature of humanity and the origins of our knowledge. Could it be that everything we believe to be true about the world and human history is, in actuality, incomplete? Could a crucial chapter of our past have been deliberately concealed, buried within the confines of ancient texts and forgotten traditions? The deluge, often perceived as the end of the Nephilim era, may actually be the genesis of something far grander. The enduring presence of their ancient knowledge and influence in subsequent civilizations hints that the true narrative of the Nephilim remains unwritten. Conversely, perhaps everything that transpired from the fall of angels to the construction of the pyramids and the rise of early civilizations was an intricate facet of a larger design, a design that persists to our present time. Considering recent discoveries of skeletal remains and artifacts frequently linked to giants, we are led to ponder if we are at the dawn of a new era of revelations. What do these archaeological findings, often overlooked or dismissed by mainstream science, truly signify? Could they herald a paradigm shift in our understanding of human history, one where lost knowledge of the Nephilim and their influence comes to light? The crux of the matter, then, is not whether these beings existed, but the profound impact their legacies may have on our lives today. The paramount question that arises is, did the Nephilim truly vanish, or are they simply biding their time, poised to be rediscovered as humanity's hidden knowledge begins to surface? If the Nephilim still walk among us, how can we discern their true intentions and the legacy they have bequeathed? Perhaps the answer lies in delving deeper into the very traditions and mythologies that speak of these entities. As future archaeological discoveries illuminate, the truth may prove far more intricate than we conceive. It is possible that the Nephilim are, in essence, a reflection of our own latent potential and the key to unlocking humanity's future. The enigma surrounding the Nephilim is not merely a relic of the past. It remains a compelling challenge, a puzzle that continues to intrigue us. Every discovery, every fragment of evidence, every new study on the subject unearths fresh perspectives and raises even more questions. Perhaps the most profound revelation lies in the realization that the mystery of the Nephilim has never truly been about them, but about ourselves. As human beings, we are inherently driven to comprehend the forces that have shaped us and the influences that continue to guide our path. In this pursuit, we inevitably turn our gaze to the past, hoping to uncover the answers that will illuminate our future. Therefore, while the mystery of the Nephilim may never be fully unraveled, the pursuit of truth persists. The exploration behind these ancient and potent figures is far from finished. The future, as always, is fraught with uncertainties. Yet one thing remains indubitable: the legacy of the Nephilim, whether in the power of ancient civilizations, scientific breakthroughs, or even the spiritual and philosophical quandaries we grapple with today, continues to reverberate through our world in ways we may not yet fully grasp. The saga of the Nephilim, far from being a conclusion, is merely the dawn of a journey marked by discoveries and revelations that will continue to captivate and perplex future generations. The question that lingers then is whether we, as humanity, will be equipped to comprehend the pervasive enigma the Nephilim have left in their wake. And more importantly, will we be prepared to grapple with the immense power that such knowledge entails? We've reached the end of this journey, but the story of the Nephilim is far from over. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on everything we've explored here. Do you believe the legacy of the Nephilim endures among us today? What are your insights into the influences they may have exerted on ancient civilizations, and perhaps even on our modern world? Share your perspective in the comments below, and join us in pondering this captivating narrative. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as this expedition is just beginning. Let's embark together on the quest for truth. Stay tuned for upcoming videos and become an integral part of this extraordinary discovery.